Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I'm Shay Blackmon, and if you were with me on Tuesday, we talked about the $550 billion price tag of toxic culture. Today, we're diving into what might be the most misunderstood workplace trend of the decade: quiet quitting. The term that launched 1,000 think pieces and gave managers everywhere something new to blame for their team's lack of enthusiasm. But here's what nobody's saying: quiet quitting isn't a Gen Z problem, it's not a TikTok trend gone wrong, and it's definitely not new. Quiet quitting is what happens when loud leading disappears. So today we're flipping the script. We're done talking about what employees aren't doing. Let's talk about what leaders aren't doing and exactly how to fix it. Grab your coffee and buckle up. This one's going to challenge some deeply held beliefs. The real problem? Let's get something straight right out of the gate. Quiet quitting is just a trendy new label for something that's existed since the beginning of work itself. It's called disengagement, and disengagement doesn't happen in a vacuum. You know what I hear from leaders? My team just isn't motivated anymore. Nobody wants to go above and beyond. People do the bare minimum and leave exactly at 5 p.m. You know what I don't hear? I wonder what I did to make my team stop caring. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Employees don't quit jobs. They quit managers. And before they quit managers, they quit caring. That's what quiet quitting really is. It's the slow fade that happens when people realize their effort doesn't matter, their voice doesn't count, and their growth doesn't concern anyone. In my 25 years of HR and leadership roles, I've seen this pattern play out hundreds of times. Someone starts a job excited, engaged, full of ideas. 6 months later, they're doing exactly what's asked and not 1 ounce more. What changed? Not the employee. The environment changed them, and that environment, that's on leadership. When leaders stop loudly championing their people, people quietly check out. It's not rebellion, it's self-preservation. So the question isn't, how do we stop quiet quitting? The question is, how do we start loud leading? What is loud leading? Loud leading isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's not about micromanaging or forcing fake enthusiasm. Loud leading is visible, intentional, consistent advocacy for your team's success. It means your people know, without question, that you see them, value them, and are actively invested in their growth. Here's what loud leading looks like in practice. It's recognizing contributions publicly and specifically. Not "great job, team," but "Sarah, your analysis on the Q3 data identified the exact bottleneck we were missing." That's going to save us weeks. It's creating clear pathways for advancement. Not vague, "keep doing what you're doing" platitudes, but "here's what director level looks like, here's where you are now, and here's exactly what we need to work on together to get you there." It's psychological safety at the tactical level, where people can say, "I don't understand," or "I disagree," or "I made a mistake," without fear of retaliation or ridicule. It's removing barriers instead of creating more hoops. When someone comes to you with, "I can't get this done because of X," you don't say, "figure it out." You say, "let me handle X so you can focus on what matters." It's feedback that actually helps people grow rather than just documenting what they did wrong. Loud leading is exhausting. It requires attention, intention, and energy. You know what's more exhausting? Managing a team of people who stopped caring. So let's talk about how to bring that energy back for leaders who are ready to do the work. The 5 languages of appreciation. One of the biggest mistakes I see leaders make is assuming everyone wants to be appreciated the same way. You love public recognition? Great. Your direct report might hate it. You're motivated by bonuses? Cool. The person sitting next to you might prefer flexible hours. This is where the 5 languages of appreciation become game-changing. And no, this isn't just therapy speak. This is strategic leadership. Language 1. Words of affirmation. These team members need to hear it. Verbal recognition, written praise, specific feedback about what they're doing well, an email that says, "I noticed the care you put into that presentation matters more to them than a gift card." Language 2, quality time. This is about undivided attention, one-on-ones where you're actually present, not checking your phone or letting interruptions happen. These people feel valued when you invest time in them, not when you throw money at them. Language 3. Acts of service. Show me you care by removing obstacles. Take something off my plate. Run interference with that difficult stakeholder. Handle the administrative nightmare so I can focus on the meaningful work. Actions over words every time. Language 4. Tangible gifts. Yes, sometimes it really is about the gift. Not necessarily expensive, a book related to their interests, their favorite coffee, tickets to something they mentioned once. It's the I was paying attention and I thought of you that matters. Language 5. Physical touch. This one requires nuance in professional settings. It's a high five after a win, a handshake of congratulations, a fist bump. For some people, that appropriate physical acknowledgement signals you're part of this team in a way words can't. Here's the strategy. You need to know which language each team member speaks, and the only way to know? Ask them. In your next one-on-one, when you felt most appreciated in your career, what did that look like? Their answer tells you everything. Then, and this is the critical part, you have to actually speak their language, not yours. There was a company where turnover dropped by 35% in 1 year after implementing this simple practice. Leaders stopped giving everyone the same generic Employee of the Month award and started giving people what actually made them feel valued. One employee needed to hear her manager say, "Your work is exceptional," in the weekly team meeting. Another needed her manager to cover her shift once a month so she could leave early for her kids' soccer games. Different languages, same result. People who felt seen. That's loud leading. The 3-level engagement strategy. Okay, you're convinced you need to re-engage your team, but where do you start when half your workforce has already checked out? You start with what I call the 3-level engagement strategy. This is the framework I use in CBC's Engagement Revival program, and it works because it addresses the root causes, not the symptoms. Level 1, restore trust. You can't engage people who don't trust you, period. This means keeping your commitments. If you said you'd follow up on Tuesday, you follow up on Tuesday, admitting when you're wrong. I made a call that didn't work out. Here's what I learned. Explaining the why behind decisions, especially unpopular ones. Not punishing honesty. When someone tells you the truth about what's not working, your response is, "Thank you for trusting me with that," not, "Well, that's just how it is." Trust isn't built with one grand gesture. It's built through consistent small deposits over time. Level 2, create meaningful connection. People don't engage with tasks. They engage with purpose and with each other. This means connecting daily work to larger impact. When you process these invoices efficiently, our vendors get paid on time, which maintains relationships that keep our supply chain running. Creating opportunities for genuine collaboration, not just collaborative meetings where one person talks and everyone else nods. Knowing what matters to your people beyond work, not in a nosy way, in a I care about you as a human way. Level 3, fuel growth. The fastest way to re-engage someone? Show them a future worth working toward. This means clear development paths, not vague promises of someday. Stretch assignments that challenge without overwhelming. Skills investment, training, mentorship, exposure to senior leadership. Honest conversations about what's possible and what's not. When I was in manufacturing operations, I watched what happened when frontline supervisors started applying this framework. Absenteeism dropped, quality issues decreased, and the informal leaders, the ones everyone else looked to, stopped undermining management and started championing change. Not because we gave everyone raises, because we gave them reasons to care. Let's get practical. Right now, I want you to do a quick audit of your own leadership. This is the same exercise I use in the High Value Leadership Intensive course, and it's uncomfortable, which means it's necessary. The 5-minute engagement audit. Pull out your phone and answer these honestly. Question 1, recognition ratio. In the last week, what's your ratio of corrective feedback to positive recognition? If it's not at least 3-to-1 positive to corrective, you're training people to avoid you. Question 2, growth investment. For each direct report, Can you name one specific way you've invested in their development in the last 30 days? Not I'm planning to or I want to, actual investment you've made. Question 3, appreciation language. Do you know the primary appreciation language for each of your direct reports? If the answer is no, you're guessing at how to motivate people, and you're probably getting it wrong. Question 4, psychological safety. When was the last time someone on your team disagreed with you or admitted a mistake without you making them regret it? If you can't remember, that's your answer about safety. Question 5, the why test. Ask yourself, if my highest performer left tomorrow, would they be able to articulate why staying was better than leaving? Not the benefits are good or the pay is competitive. The real why, that's about what you specifically bring as their leader. Give yourself a point for every question where you have a solid, honest yes. 5 points, you're practicing loud leading. Keep going. 3 to 4 points, you're on the right track but leaving engagement on the table. 0 to 2 points, your team is probably quietly quitting right now, and they're not wrong. The good news, every single one of these is fixable. Starting today, the CBC Engagement Revival Program. If you're looking at your audit results and realizing your team's disengagement is more than you can fix with a few tweaks, that's what the Engagement Revival Program is designed for. This isn't team-building exercises or trust falls. This is a systematic approach to rebuilding engagement from the ground up. We start with data, anonymous engagement surveys that actually ask the right questions. Not do you like your coworkers, but do you have what you need to do your job well? We identify the specific breakdown points. Is it trust, recognition, growth opportunities, workload imbalance? We diagnose before we prescribe. We train your leaders in the practical skills of loud leading, including how to identify appreciation languages, deliver effective recognition, and create psychological safety. We build sustainable systems so this isn't a one-time program that fades after 3 months. This is how your organization operates going forward. The companies that commit to this work, they're not just reducing quiet quitting, they're creating cultures where people actively want to contribute. That's the difference between damage control and transformation. The hard truth. Look, I get it. This is hard work. It would be so much easier if we could just blame quiet quitting on lazy employees or generational differences or remote work or whatever the scapegoat of the week is. But if you've been leading for more than 10 minutes, you know the truth. Culture flows from leadership. When engagement dies, it dies from the top down. And when it's revived, that comes from the top down too. The leaders who are winning right now, they're not the ones with the biggest budgets or the fanciest perks. They're the ones practicing loud leading. They're the ones who made employee engagement a leadership competency, not an HR problem. Your team isn't quietly quitting because they're uncommitted. They're quietly quitting because commitment became a one-way street. The question is, are you ready to make it a two-way street again? Next Tuesday, we're tackling the succession crisis nobody's talking about, because all of this engagement work means nothing if you're not building the next generation of leaders. And most companies, they're about to have a very expensive wake-up call. Speaking of building leadership capacity, if today's episode has you realizing your leadership team needs more than just this podcast, I want you to download the Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. It's my framework for maintaining your strength and authenticity while leading through challenges, including the challenge of re-engaging teams that have checked out. This is foundational content from the High Value Leadership Intensive course, and it's yours free. Grab it from the show notes and then drop a comment. What's the first step you're taking to move from quiet quitting to loud leading? I read every comment, and your commitment to action inspires the work I do. Remember, you can't demand engagement. You can only create the conditions where engagement thrives. I'm Shay Blackmon. Keep unlocking your potential, empowering your teams, and transforming your culture. Until Tuesday.